All right, we have a very special treat in store from CAA and the New Orleans School of Cooking. We're at Super Bowl 59 out here in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we have a gumbo cook-off, something very special for you guys coming up with some very special contestants whom you probably might recognize. We'll get started with contestant number 1.
What's up, everybody? This is Harrison Phillips out of Omaha, Nebraska, currently with the Minnesota Vikings, Stanford grad. And I'm here today representing not just myself, but my pregnant wife, who is expecting with our first son in a few months. So I'm playing the sympathy card to the judges. I got a family to feed here, so I got to get my dad shoes on.
That's going to be tough to compete with. You know, a father cooking, that's not a joke. My dad did a lot of cooking for us, too. So contestant number 2 better have something good in store for us. Here he is.
What's up, y'all? It's Payton Turner, defensive end here in New Orleans with the Saints, from Houston. Bringing a little bit of that Bayou blend, home court advantage. Gonna show the guys how to cook a little bit. You
know, he was telling me off camera that he don't do much cooking, so we'll see if being from Texas is enough. But we have another Southerner in the building, and that's contestant number 3.
What's up, guys? I'm Conor Mcdermott, offensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. Born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. Just here to show them how we do it in Nashville and teach them a little thing or two.
It's looking a little dangerous with that knife. I think I'm going to stay away from him. Okay. He takes his gumbo very seriously, and that's what we like to see. All right, so we've met our contestants, but we also have 3 very discerning judges. And coming from the New Orleans School of Cooking, we have no less than Chef Eric. So, Chef, please tell us what you're going to be expecting from our 3 contestants here.
Well, I definitely want a good flavor inside the pot. I want to see cleanliness at your station, keep it nice and clean, and presentation. That's the one that brings it all home. If it looks good, smells good, tastes good, feels good, it's all good.
Well, that's the first step, because if it don't look good, I ain't getting it off the plate.
Yeah, I'm not one of those.
Thank you so much, Chef Eric. All right, and then we also have our sous chef Rico, who is a New Orleans native, and he also has a very discerning tongue. So we're going to bring him over here, and he's going to tell us what he's expecting from our 3 NFL contestants.
The only thing I am expecting is taste. Taste, taste, taste. That's it. That's all I want to do is taste it, baby. That's it.
The pressure is on. The humidity is on. Let's get the competition started.
All right, gentlemen, y'all ready to get this competition started? All right, now gumbo comes down to a few key components. Number 1 being the roux. Now, the roux is a mixture of flour and oil cooked down to a certain color. Chocolate is what we're looking for. A good traditional South Louisiana roux is going to be chocolate roux. You combine that with some nice vegetable blend known as the Trinity, the lifeblood of New Orleans and Louisiana. Onion, bell peppers, and celery. You can find this in everything that we eat. Some nice fresh chopped garlic, mainly because it's garlic. We don't question garlic, we just follow the will of the garlic, all right? Blend that all together with the protein of your choice. We got some chicken and some andouille sausage, a little bit of spicy Cajun sausage, all right?
So, first of all, when you're cutting, you never want to leave your fingers out. When you're cooking with Chef Payton, I'm not going to lead you astray. Tuck the knuckles, a little, see that? Just smooth.
When you're dealing with sharp knives and things like that, you definitely want to keep those fingers in. Once you guys got all your sausages chopped, you want to get your pot going, your main gumbo pot, and get that sausage in there browning down. Remember, gumbo comes in many shapes and many forms. There's really no wrong way to make a gumbo.
So, Chef Eric, I have to ask you then, okay, so after our contestants are finished with the roux, the most essential ingredient of the gumbo, what is next?
So next is going to be bringing in our stock, our chicken stock or your veggie stock, whatever stock you want to use, and that's going to bring everything together. That's going to marry the proteins with the roux, the vegetables, it all comes together inside of the flavorful stock.
Oh my goodness.
And then from there, the real fun starts, because then they got to start playing with their different seasoning and spices. And that's going to really start to pull everybody apart. When it comes to this close race, you want to start to get leads, start to get fall behinds.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
what we're
And
gonna
so
get
you've
to.
been pretty instrumental, I feel like, in the success of getting these guys started. So are you gonna, kind of leave it to them when the spice comes? Because
That's pretty much the balls or the football is in their court.
Laser focus, slowly stirring so the roux doesn't split. Adding little batches at a time.
Now we can add anything that we kind of want here, huh? Gonna have to add something. It needs a little something. I like it hot, so he says impress yourself. I want a little hot sauce in here then.
So, we're about, I don't know, I'd say we're about a little bit over halfway point. Probably a little bit more than over halfway point, about 70%, 5%, 3/4 of the way here. Roux's looking pretty good. I'm liking the consistency, the color. And we got the stock to a simmer. Sausage looks great. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding the roux to the pot. From pan to pot, and then to you.
Once you have a flavor that you're satisfied with, just let it simmer. Don't bother it. Let the real work happen. The real flavor's gonna blend together. My favorite factor of a great gumbo, what makes a great gumbo, is honestly patience. That simmering process is vital to building all those flavors. If you talk to true gumbo makers, you hear things like, it takes me 6 hours to make a gumbo. We're not cooking and chopping for 6 hours. So it makes up maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours to get it in the pot, but the next 4 hours is dedicated to letting it slowly simmer. It just draws flavor. Everything grows and matures and gets stronger and better over time. So you really want a good gumbo? Don't bother it, just let it simmer, let it mature. Pralines time, our sugary confection that we know and love so much in New Orleans. But to make the praline is quite simple. We have some butter inside of our pots. We want to melt that butter. Once the butter melts, we want to add in our milk, and then we're going to add in our dry ingredients. 2 types of sugars, white, light brown, and our chopped pecans.
Some crushed pretzels and marshmallow, that'd be good, but it's a guessing game with chef lights.
Trust me, yes sir.
I spilled.
You spilled, yes you did. You most definitely did. Oh my goodness. Now when it comes to making pralines, we want to bring all these ingredients up to a nice boil. We need to let it boil for at least 2 minutes. That's going to reach that sugar to a certain degrees, about 240, 250. That's going to give you the candy making process. So once you cook sugar to a certain degree, certain temperature, and you cool it, it hardens. That makes candy. And when you're cooling it down, that's when you can start incorporating any kind of flavorings that you want. Now when it comes to the flavorings, it's dealer's choice. Whatever you want to do. All right, let's make some pralines.
Just gonna get a little bit of peppermint, you know.
We
More
all
of a
made pralines.
Presentation.
So now guys, make up your plates. Get your good presentation plate going. You got your bowl for your gumbo.
All right.
Your plate for your pralines.
Okay.
Make it look as good as it smells. Show off the hard work. I mean, you guys did it.
All right, our contestants have completed their dishes, and just to remind you, they were tasked with making a Cajun classic, gumbo, and also a New Orleans praline, okay? So we've got our judges here, and of course you know Chef Eric, who's been watching all of our contestants make things with their heart, you know, giving them instruction along the way. We also have sous chef Rico, who's also been watching the contestants, making sure that they stay on task. But as I told you in the beginning that we were going to introduce to you a mystery judge, he's here simply to verify that it tastes good. I introduce you to Judge Grant. All right, let's get this tasting started. We'll begin with contestant number 1.
Yeah, what's up guys? So obviously we have our 2 dishes here. I think that I was trying to go for more, was a little bit more spice. I enjoy a little heat myself, a little more peppers. Was very liberal on my hot Joe Stuff seasoning, also with some of my Cajun Chef hot sauce, Louisiana staples. When we switched over to the sweets, this is where I feel like was more in my wheelhouse as a 300+ pound man myself. Got a sweet tooth. I added a lot of chocolate to mine, marshmallows, a little bit of peanut butter, 1 pretzel in there to show you that I believe I'm number 1.
I like it. Confidence is key when you're cooking. Judge Grant just gave me his score, but now after he's digested the gumbo, he's got an update for us.
It's a 9. I have to give him a solid 8.
This was a man fighting for the honor of his wife and his unborn child. And as a father, I share that sentiment with him, so yeah. But that doesn't matter when it comes to judging. And I have to be fair in my assessment. I'm going to go with a strong 7. A strong 7, all right? Yeah.
All right, we're going to go on to contestant number 2.
And but here we have, you know, a little andouille sausage, some chicken, into a little lighter broth here, or lighter roux, I would say, a little bit lighter color. Then we have the pralines, of course. Put a little bit of pretzels in there.
How would you rank the gumbo?
It's a 7.
Of course, like solid gold, like the black and gold, he gets a 7.
I'll give you a nice solid 5. 5. You chose to go for a lighter roux. That does make the difference. So the darker the roux, the more intense, the more stronger the flavor becomes.
It's just a solid 5.
It's a solid 5.
Solid 5.
So we'll walk down to contestant number 3 and see how he did with his gumbo.
Well, I tend to love spice, and being from Nashville, I love hot, so I put a whole bottle of hot sauce in there, a bunch of the Worcestershire sauce, and then went pretty heavy on all the seasonings, so My wife tells me I always go overboard on seasoning, so we'll
It's all
see.
about the spice.
Yep.
It's all about the spice. It's an 8.
A solid 6.
All right.
Not as bad as you may think. 6.
Of course, we're going to finish things off with the pralines. And remember, all together, right? Judge Grant, who's never enjoyed a praline in his life, gives that one a score of 8.
What's your number?
Ooh.
7.
7. Okay. Chef Eric is going for it now.
5. Yeah, not bad. 5.
That brings his total ranking of the praline to a smooth 20. All right. We're with contestant number 2 now, finishing things off with dessert. So, Judge Grant again, who's going to try one of these amazing praline. Verdict?
It's a 10.
We haven't had a score like this one yet. A perfect 10 for the praline coming from contestant number 2. Wow. We still have 2 more judges to go, so we'll begin with Sous Chef Rico.
I second that emotion.
Woo! Another 10 for contestant number 2. Almost a perfect score, but we still have Chef Eric, the ever discerning Chef Eric. Whoa.
Hold on, everybody gave you a 10 now. I'm gonna give you 8. So yeah. 8.
Almost at that elusive perfect score for the praline, but just short at 28. Not too shabby. All right, we're going to move on now to contestant 1, the final praline of the competition.
I don't like nuts, but it's really, really good. It's a 10.
Another 10 for the praline coming from contestant number 1 this time.
Needed that.
Wow.
Needed that. Needed that. Needed that.
Get a solid 9.
A solid 9. That is not bad.
Let's see, shall we? I don't want to be the bad guy,
It's all right. Actually, I was gonna say, you've been being a bad guy.
Been that old day.
So I love peanut butter. Yeah, that's my 10 right there.
Without further ado, congratulate contestant number 1. Wow.
Wow.
With an
Wow, what an
amazing
honor.
gumbo,
Hey.
an amazing set of
Wow.
pralines that
What an
wowed the judges.
One of the biggest accomplishments of my life
Cooking
right here.
for his wife and unborn son, and now a chef.
I'm a firm believer if you reach for the stars and you only get the clouds, you're still higher than everyone else. And that was what I came out here today. I wanted a perfect 60. Didn't get that, but crossed off a lot of cool things along the way. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank CAA Sports. I'd like to thank, obviously, New Orleans School of Cooking for coming out here, and also thank my contestants. They did a good job. I think they felt some pity in their hearts for me. But I don't think that we can go without appreciation for the amazing utensils and the amazing cooking ware that we gotta use today. And I think that I'll be making sure to make some purchases of that in the future moving forward.
All right, ready to go. Appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Good luck on everything, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man, so much.